RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What the hell was that? Hold on. Oh my god. I hit a sound effect of a breaking glass. Oh my god. Hello, what's up? Nice to see ya, guys. Thank you for hanging out. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you. I know it's been forever. I didn't do a show this week because of the DNC, really. I didn't want to cut into the DNC, and I was watching it, and I couldn't do a simulcast DNC because you remember what happened the last time. Why am I losing my voice all right at the beginning of the show? Probably because I just had to yell at Boudica for stalking Spooky. So yeah, we did a simulcast of the Democratic National Convention, and they shut down my channel. Remember that? For a week, I got hit with a copyright thing. So I didn't know that we couldn't play the DNC. I mean the debate. That's what we were playing. That's what happened, and we weren't allowed. Whatever. Who cares? So I'm a little gun shy about doing things like that. But all right, yeah. But it was a great convention, and yeah, we're back. We're back. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot more work to do. We can't. I mean, what sucks is that it's gonna be close. How is this even possible? That it's gonna be close. That's another thing that really baffles me. We definitely live in two Americas. And that is because of the corporate media. There's no doubt that if we didn't live in these silos of information, we would be in a better situation. We wouldn't be in this boat where there's the majority of the Republican Party think the election was stolen simply because the con man repeated it enough. That's it. They have no actual proof for this. They don't have anything in reality. They have no anecdotal proof except for what the likes of Rudy Giuliani tells them that they see, like Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss passing a gum, giving her mother a stick of gum. But Rudy Giuliani says that's a thumb drive with all kinds of voter shenanigans going on. They're just sick people. They're absolutely sick. And of course, going to court, they have not a leg to stand on, so they get laughed out of court with prejudice, which is the judicial equivalent of saying, get the fuck out of here with this shit. Right? So, but in order to be a Trumpanzee, in order to be a Republican in this filthy excuse of a Republican Party, for a Republican Party, they have to buy into the lies. It's like being in a cult. It's like any cult. You can't question the dear leader. You can't question the reality of the dear leader. They tell you what reality is, whether it's regardless of the facts and the truth. And that's the difference between the times that we're living in. And it's also the difference. Well, it's the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party at this moment in time. And we all know that if the Democratic Party suddenly turned into a kind of cult like the filthy fascists are, we wouldn't be a part of it. That's the difference. I don't know. I saw something on Twitter today, a woman. And we'll talk about how the filthy maggots were mocking Tim Walz's son for having a spontaneous display of emotion, a pride and love for his father. And it was absolutely beautiful. I thought it was touching. I was crying watching him crying. It was so beautiful to see. And I didn't know he had, then it came out that he has some kind of developmental something or other. I don't even know. He's got some neurodivergent issues. And then that's when the Republicans were like, like Ann Coulter said that I don't know if she even apologized, but she said that she didn't know that and I'm sure she didn't, she gave a non-apology apology, if anything at all, but she didn't know that he had issues or whatnot. But who cares if he didn't seem to have issues to me. He had love. It's like it's the difference between being a deplorable and being a decent human being. Aren't you sick of the deplorables? One of the thing that Hillary Clinton, when she called them deplorable, she wasn't wrong. My problem with what she said was that she rolled it back. She apologized. There's no need to apologize. Because right out of the gate, she didn't call the entire maggot cult, and they weren't all as far gone, but though I will, I can make a case for the fact that, of course, they're all gone. Because if they came down an escalator, if that asshole comes down an escalator declaring Mexicans rapists, and you're like, sure, that's the guy for me, that's already a bridge too far for people who aren't deplorable. But okay. Sometimes it took a little longer for people to get with the program of humanity. But, these deplorables, one of the things that, let me just finish the thought, is that Hillary Clinton, what annoyed me was that she had to apologize. She didn't have to. Yeah, all she had to do was say, I didn't call them all deplorable. I laid it out. I said the homophobes, the transphobes, the Islamophobes, the morons, the violence-inspiring thugs, the filthy liars. If that's who you are, then shame on you. But I'm not rolling it back. As you see, the Republicans, they never apologize for anything, even when they're wrong. They just start complaining. Well, mostly they're wrong, 99% of the time, but they complain. That they're being canceled then. Oh, we're being canceled. We're under attack. We're being canceled. But they never explain, well, what did you say, Can't stop saying the N-word, or what is it? Spreading some racist conspiracy theory du jour, and your corporate benefactors, your employer doesn't feel like they want to pay to be associated with you. So, there's the party of personal responsibility. All right, so let me, we didn't say the plugs sorry, I don't even know. How do I begin? It's been so long. This is Unapologetic Liberal Talk. Thank you for hanging out, guys. This is our regular, I have a problem with that word. I'm sorry. I have to say it slow. Our regular Friday get-together here at the Tarabuster YouTube channels and other places. It's simulcast on Twitter. I don't think it's on Facebook anymore because they shut that down. That was like I don't know. I think they made it impossible to do. Also Discord, I believe, but I don't really pay much attention. And of course, on Rockfin, the show is also on Rockfin. And other places, you can get it as a audio only. I don't know, whatever. It's all the ways of saying just become a goddamn patron, please. At patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Like the patrons in the chat. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. As always, right out of the gate. It makes me feel good to see that, because sometimes it's very lonely super chat in there. But we have people like Charlie from APS Radio News, who is a amazing and stalwart, is that a word? Stalwart benefactor, who also loves the community cats. And I appreciate, and all animals too. Anybody who loves animals is a friend of mine. Friend of animals, you're a friend of me. And also, I want to thank JD, because you can also contribute through PayPal if you would like to, like JD, who doesn't even live in this country, but he supports the show. So thank you, JD. I saw your donation after I got off the air. Oh, when did you? Was it last week? It's been so long. Jesus Christ. And Andrea, thank you for your donation through PayPal as well. So yeah, all I can say is I don't know, man. I can't do it without you. So, and I wouldn't want to. I'd be worse as far as my depression, dysthymia, depression. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of depressed yesterday a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if you guys were listening. I called up the Tom Hartman show, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Hold on. Here comes the music. I'll explain in a moment. Be right back. Unapologetic liberal talk. So I've been thinking of ways to promote the show. I don't know. Because I get very exhausted from life. And thank you, Matt. And thank you, Kathy. I see Matt is a goddamn patron. Thank you, Matt. And Kathy is a goddamn patron. Thank you, Kathy. See? I can't do it without you. Jim, of course, is a goddamn patron. So let's see. So I called up. I was going to say, oh, yes, this is what happened. Because I was telling you guys, I'm going to just call up other liberal talk shows and kind of, just say, yeah, this is Tara from Tarabuster, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what it was. It was like, I felt like Tom, hung up on me. So it made me feel very bad. He was like, yeah, keep up the good work. Click. And then it was gone. I was only on there for 30 seconds. And yeah, so it made me, I really felt like, is this not a good idea? I don't know, maybe because I was like, yeah, this is Tara from Tarabuster. Yeah, you've been on my show. And then I started talking about, liberals, the Democrats, how it was great to see the Democrats doing what we've been talking about for years, right? Not bringing back patriotism, but reclaiming the mantle of patriotism. True. Ed says, you are always confused with the other Tara Devlin. It's Tara Dublin. That's the other Tara that I'm always confused with, who has a liberal something. I always get confused with Tara Dublin. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. But I was like, yeah, Tom, I've been on your show. Excuse me. I said, you've been on my show. Thank you so much. I just want to call. I'm very excited to hear the Democrats taking back patriotism. And I've been talking about this on my show for years. And then I said that the entire United States is a liberal initiative. It's nothing more progressive than overthrowing a king and an aristocracy, and this is what we say on the show. And in fact, the mantle of the mission statement of the United States comes from the liberal age of enlightenment and blah blah blah. I don't know, whatever. I can't even remember. It was only on there for 20 seconds, and he fucking hung up on me. That's what it felt like. They was like, yeah, that's great. I could totally agree. Keep up the great work. And then it was click. And I don't know. It just felt like shit then. It made me feel bad. I was like, should I not have done that? So I'm overthinking everything. All right. Who cares? I'm just sharing this because I wanted to get your opinions, I guess. Who cares? Whatever. So then I started thinking, what the fuck, right? Because I get so mad about the whole liberal landscape. How, and I've told you my frustrations before. I don't know. Feels like we're on our own. Actually, except for Robin Kincaid, Mike Malloy, and I'll keep, as far as I'm concerned, those are the only other people, because now they're dear friends. But the reason I even know Mike Malloy is because he's been like a mentor. He is a mentor, not like a mentor. He's helped me so enormously. And for nothing, never asked for fucking anything. He knew I was a lesbian, so it wasn't about that either. And he's married, or was at the time. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I know Tom has constant commercials and cuts people off. It's true. But I thought, I don't know. Then I thought to myself, well, I shouldn't do this because that's kind of like a beggar thing to do, I guess, in a way. I should just do my own thing and not fucking just, it's kind of desperate, right? Like to call up another show and be like, yeah, my show. I don't know. That's what I was really thinking about it. All right, whatever. You live and learn. Make mistakes. So, yes, he is. Mike Malloy is still great, and he's still raging out, Jim. I hope you are a patron of Mike Malloy's as well. So, he's the master of disaster. He's great. I love Mike. So, all right. So, where do we begin? Yes, Tom seems to be too as JD says, Tom seems to be too soft on Republicans, not enough of a hard edge. He's very lenient with them. And when he does kind of go off on them, in fact, I've seen it, or heard it, I should say, where he apologizes immediately after, saying, oh, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have gotten angry, and I've been sitting there listening, being like, yes, finally. But yeah, that's just not him. He's got, I guess, to be himself. It's too nice, I agree, because we're past the point of niceties. Not that I'm saying like we have to be dicks. We're not them. But you see, we're not making fun of them just because of, to make fun of them. I'm not making fun of them, in fact. What are we talking about on here? It's not really about them. We're trying to make the world, or make the country, and the world by extension, safe for democracy. We're trying to make this a more perfect union. We don't leave anybody behind. And it is a testament to liberal values in general that even they reap the benefits of progressive policies, of the progressive agenda. And like, for example, you think about Social Security. You think that because Trump is like, Harris is going to destroy Social Security. Are you kidding me? If we tried to pass Social Security today, could you imagine what these filthy fascists would be screaming about, talking about what they would be calling Social Security? Of course, they would talk about, saying how Social Security is communism, it's socialism, it's fascism, it's Marxism. Because they use all those words, not having any idea what the meaning of them are, and when they're the guy, I don't call them communists because they're fascists, but they call us communists, fascists, Marxists, everything under the sun, because they have nothing has any meaning when you're not operating from sincerity. They're not trying to help people. They're trying to scare people into submission. Yes, and Tim on the chat says, Tara, would you like to be a guest? Would you like to be a guest on Hal Sparks' show? Yeah, of course I would. I would. Maybe one day. I will be a guest on DC Report with Brad Bannon on Monday. And we always have a great conversation. I love Brad Bannon. And Brad Bannon's, it's Leslie Marshall's show. It's Leslie Marshall's spot, I should say. I think that she has a show 3 days a week, and then Brad does Mondays, and somebody else does another day. But I love Brad. He's great. He's very quirky himself, but he's just a great guy, and we always have amazing. I always think we have great conversations. So, all right, hold on. Yeah, Bob Seska's would be good. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Kathy. He's a Facebook friend of mine. See, they all Facebook friend me, but they don't friend me, you know? And thank you. Yes, Neuromantic, I heard, says, I heard you on Randy Rhoads show. Exactly, because I was so depressed about Tom Hartman, what it seemed to be hanging up on me. And you know what? The other thing is, because I had so many other things I wanted to say about what they were talking about, and that thing about we're the progressive. I mean, we're the ones who carry the mantle of the vision of the founders, and that was just my intro, and he hung up on me. But so what Randy and another, she kept me on hold for like an hour, and by the time we picked up, she talked about so many other things, and then I only had like 20 seconds and the music was going, so I felt kind of bad about that too. I can't fucking win. I can't win. Right? I look very white, don't I? I'm so white. I'm like Casper the Ghost here. I have the pallor of a goddamn ghost. I don't know if it's my new apartment paint reflecting off the walls. All right. Yeah, Randy's great. She's great. And she plays my clips too. So then that's what I thought. I'll just, what I need to do is just stick to the clips, play the clips. I got to give them more clips on Progressive Voices. And this is my frustration. I'm just sharing, just between us. Don't tell anybody. But it's very frustrating because I try to get, I mean, I could tell you things, but that wouldn't be right, I guess, when we all meet for our gatherings one day. But, I ask for help and then I don't get any help. That's it. All I can say, let's just put it that way. And I feel bad about that. And it gets me frustrated because I do expect more from liberals. And then I start thinking, do I suck? Right? And then I say to myself, don't talk like that. Right? This is what goes on in my mind. And I remember, I don't know who it was who told me this, because a few years ago when doing the show, I was really in a bad place. And I kept saying, oh, do I suck? Like I was really having a lot of negative talk, self-talk or whatever. And somebody on the chat said, stop talking like that, because when you say the show sucks or you suck, that means, you're insulting us. You're insulting the audience who listen to you. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't do that. That's a horrible thing to do. Because I'm not insulting you guys at all. I love you guys. I don't know what I'd do without you. So, yeah, maybe Bob Suska has Tara Dublin on. Maybe I should call him and pretend to be Tara Dublin. And then he'll just, say, no, it's Tara Devlin. Right? And then it'll be too late by then, because I'll already be on the air. But I guess he could always hang up on me like Tom. And the other thing about Tom, I don't know. I told you we went out to dinner. Not that that means anything. That's only because I was with Mike Malloy. We went out to dinner. He picked up the tab at least. But I don't know. You say whatever. Okay, let me stop whining. I sound like Traitor Trump at this point. Where do we begin? My God. I got some videos here. It was a great convention. It was beautiful. And the fact that still people are gonna vote for that con man, I just don't get it. How is that possible? It does question my faith, my very slim faith in humanity. And thank you, Pookie's mommy, Irene, on the chat. Tara, don't give up. You are special, and everyone that finds you will love you. Thank you. Thank you, Pookies. That makes me happy to hear. You know, you should call up Tom Hartman. and tell him, hey, do you know Tara Devlin? You should go on her show. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Like Baba Booey. We should do that. You know Baba Booey? Remember Howard Stern used to have his listeners call up other talk show or anywhere and just scream Baba Booey? That's what I should do. A Tarabuster mug for anyone who... That's a good idea. A Tarabuster mug for anyone who calls another talk show and drops this talk show. I don't know. That might get a little out of hand. I don't know. Nah, that might annoy them, right? Whatever. All right, let's see. Where do we begin? There's a lot of shit going on. I'm trying to find my videos to begin. Thank you for hanging out. This is our regular Friday night gathering. We try to do a show during the week, and I will have a show this week because there'll be no DNC. So that'll be good. I really need to do more shows. I need to do more shorts and things like that too. I need to do a lot of shit. I don't know. All right, stop talking yourself down, Tara Devlin. I don't ever talk to myself in third person either. I don't know why I did that. So, all right, you know what? Where do I begin? We can talk about... Well, let's start... I don't know. There's a lot of things that you probably already saw, like the DNC roll call comparison. This is a good comparison that you missed. It was on Morning Joe this morning, comparing Harris's acceptance speech to Traitor Trump's, and it's like night and day.
I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation.
We are indeed a nation in decline.
It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism.
It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction.
And destruction.
I see an America
I hit the wrong button.
where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation.
We are indeed a nation in decline.
It is now our turn
Everything sucks
to do
here,
what generations before us have done, guided by optimism.
It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction.
You know who spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction? Yeah, you know it. You're way ahead of me. Traitor Trump. And I'm not even kidding. Misery, disease, poverty, what else did he say? Misery, everything on that list.
That has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction.
Yeah, misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction. That's Traitor Trump's agenda. That's his entire administration. When historians look back and they make an assessment of the 4 years he stained the Oval Office, it'll be misery, crime, disease. What's the other? Yeah, I should take that test. Women, man, crime. I mean, camera, TV.
That has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease.
Oh, yeah, poverty. Misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction. He loves this shit. No one has hurt the American people more than that con man. No one has done more damage than he. No one's left office with more Americans in their cold early graves than Traitor Trump. And he's earned the ignoble distinction of being the worst president in American history for a reason. For those reasons. In fact, over 150 historians got together, presidential historians, and rated all the presidents. And Traitor Trump is at the bottom of the list. He's the worst. Sickening. And he won't stop being the worst. My confusion comes from the fact that anybody votes for this. Why? How sick do you have to be? Because he can't help himself. A disgusting parasite is going to be a disgusting parasite. That's who it is. That's its nature. You almost can't fault its nature. But you don't have to vote for it. You don't have to put it in power. You don't have to make it your leader. You certainly don't have to frame your entire life around it. For God's sake, some of these people, as we know, this is the problem with the Traitor Trump MAGA death cult, that they will not be extricated from it because they have given their entire lives to it. Hold on. It is a cult. They're like the Moonies. After a while, this is the problem. That's why you can't just talk them out of it, because they have sacrificed so much for this cult. They have lost friends. They've lost families. They've lost loved ones. They've lost opportunities for romance. They've gone out they've tried to get a date with somebody, and they've been rejected because they're in the Trump cult. You know this. They've been not invited to Thanksgiving. They've been, just ostracized by all the normal people in their lives. That's why they are in this bubble, and this is why, I was trying to explain it I was telling my aunt about my encounter with the guy the tow truck driver who picked me up, because I'm trying to remember how it came up. And because she was talking about, I don't know, because it just doesn't come up in conversation. You don't go to a stranger and start talking about, Traitor Trump. I don't go and start talking about democratic policies or something, unless you're talking, what's appropriate and whatnot. You don't go to, I don't go to the Pet Boys and start just talking out of the blue about, I don't know, universal health care, unless it comes up. I don't know. But the Traitor Trump crowd can't help themselves. The maggot crowd, every encounter with them, they have to bring up Trump somehow. It's pretty fucked up. And that's the mark of a cult. They're like the ideologues of a new religion. They just can't help themselves. They have to proselytize. Is that the word? I can't even talk. Proselytize. You know me and words sometimes. I have a hard time. But it's like a cult. It's like the Moonies or something. They have to bring it up with everybody they encounter, because they're in the fever of early conversion. Some of them have never been, I don't know, given any attention to politics, and a lot of them say that until Traitor Trump came along, because they have no other, nothing else in life to hold on to. What else are they gonna do? They really should. It's like get a hobby. It's like Perjury Trader Green. Before she is a prime example. Before she became a maggot, before she became a QAnon kook, she was a real acolyte of CrossFit. That's where she put all her time and her energy. It's CrossFit from sun up to sundown and every hour in between. And until she fell down a Q hole. And now she's in the maggot cult. Excuse me. And, this is it's a certain personality type. And they can't help it. That's why, when I was telling my aunt, why can't I talk? Sorry, about the guy who I got a flat and a guy, I had to call the tow guy, and within a minute, of being in his presence, I was like, oh shit. I knew he was a Trumpanzee because they cannot help themselves. Immediately, I got into the car I got into the truck, and he started with the racism. Out of the blue. You know, I live in the most culturally diverse neighborhood in the entire United States, according to the census. But I guess because I'm white, he figured, he was going to throw out the hooks to see if I was going to take the bait. Because, and you know that every white person, especially, that he encounters throughout his day, he's got to figure out if they're Trumpanzees or not. He automatically assumes they're Trumpanzees. Most likely, unless they're decked out in their regalia. You know, in the cult nonsense. The friggin' flags or the hat or whatever. They have to find out, are you in the cult? And they can't help it. It's like they feel like it's their duty to spread the bad news about Traitor Trump. It's incredible. But it's all based in hate. You know? I mean, like the guy when who took my car to the tire place when I got a flat. And immediately I said, oh yeah, he's like, you want to go to Pep Boys? I'm like, yeah, I didn't know what other place. It's like right up the block. It's like, oh, they don't speak English there. You know, that was it. I knew. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Of course they speak English. Because I don't fucking speak any other language but English, and I can talk to them just fine. But, okay, they don't speak English. Everybody's stupid. You knew right off the bat. And then he was saying, because I have a hybrid electric car, and he's like, oh, you know, Biden, you know what Biden said about the electrics? I said, what? What did Biden say? He said, too bad. Let them buy it, because he said they're too expensive. People said the electric cars are too expensive, and the guy said, Biden said, too bad. Bullshit. Yeah, of course he never said that. I think I told you this. I looked it up. I was like, of course he wouldn't say that. What politician would say that? Too bad? When somebody says, I can't afford an electric car, and you say too bad. Yeah, in what world would a politician say that? But anyway, okay. But he said, oh, well, I said, where are you getting this shit from? Well, I watch Fox and Friends. That's a pretty good resource. I said, well, they just had to pay $2 billion for lying to people, but okay. Anyway, this is what we're dealing with. They're in a cult. They can't help themselves. And they live in a fucked up world. They're everywhere. Everything sucks to them. And the reason it all sucks is because, why? You're way ahead of me. It's because of brown people. Other people. People who aren't them. No, they're not making it suck with their hate and their division and their lies and their destruction of democracy. No, that's making it great. That makes America great. They're not making it suck. It's the powerless, the politically unconnected, the poor, the people yearning to breathe free. You know, we have to be afraid of them. I'm not saying, I can't take it. The only thing, and in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine who lives on Staten Island. I think I told you about this because I grew up on Staten Island. And my neighbors who I grew up next to were like my second family. And they still live there. And they're in their 80s now. And I still talk to them. And they're not Trumpanzees. And my friend who's 81 years old, his name is Phil. He's like my second father. He's great because you don't expect. Yes, Trump. Yes, Ed on the chat. Staten Island is Trump City, and this is what I was just talking to them. And my friend Joanne and Phil, and Joanne was saying how, oh God, yeah, they all love Trump here. And one of her friends, she goes, I can't even get into it because she's a Trumpanzee. And of course, they're all on some kind of social security disability, or in fact, one of my friend's friends, her daughter is disabled. She is 100% disabled. She has some kind of developmental disability. She never had a job in her life. And she is completely sustained through benefits. Thank you, liberals, right? But these are the people. They want all the benefits of civilization. They just don't like brown people. That's what it comes down to. That's really it. These are every time I think of Staten Island, I think about how they went to that migrant facility where they sent the migrants that the filthy traitors at the border, the Ron DeSantis was sending up here to New York. Even though, like these border states, they get budgeted from the federal budget. They get money to handle the border, not New York. New York is not a border state. But that doesn't matter to maggots because it's us against them. That's how they roll. There's no e pluribus unum here. So they, instead of calling up other governors and saying, we have a problem here, or whatever it might be, let's come up with a solution. They don't want a solution. As we know with Traitor Trump's kiboshing of the border bill that the conservatives wrote, essentially, and the border police and the border the police unions all, supported. But they don't call up the other governors and say, let's get together and come up with something that works. They are antagonistic. Hold on. Because they're not trying to govern. They're not trying to govern a more perfect union. They want this place divided and torn apart so they can steal. So their masters can steal, basically. That's it. And I guess whatever they get out of the hate that's their only reward, is that they get to hate openly. And I think when you think of Staten Island, when I think of Staten Island, I think of these maggots going to a migrant facility. There was a vacant school, and they were housing some of the migrants there, bust them to Staten Island, and these monsters were all waiting for them, chanting, "You're not welcome. You're not welcome," at these powerless and politically unconnected people that were thousands of miles away from wherever they came from, that fled these failed states that we helped create. And why are they attacking these poor these poor powerless people? Because Republicans only kick down. They are the definition of kiss up, kick down. They don't follow the fake Jesus they pretend to worship. When you were a stranger, you welcomed me. Are you kidding me? When you were a stranger, what? You formed a mob and harassed me? Could you imagine these poor people? That's all I could think about, are these families in this makeshift migrant facility on Staten Island listening to the mob outside chanting, "You're not welcome. You're not Like, go the fuck home. What are you doing? They're not going home. They're not taking another 5,000-mile walk back at this moment. And if you don't like the policies, then go lobby your representative. Forming a mob outside a migrant facility isn't going to change anything. All you're doing is terrifying people who are already terrified and vulnerable and powerless. We still don't know what happened to the children that Traitor Trump ripped out of their mother's arms and put into God knows where, some kind of human traffic thing that they had going on. You realize there are still children who are lost thanks to these filthy fascists. That's it, right? Matt on the chat. Terrorists are gonna terrorize. That's all they know how to do. You're not doing anything. They're not helping anything. They're not going to change policy by harassing these powerless people. It's disgusting. But anyway, let's go on with Traitor Trump and the difference between where the world that Republicans live in and where the rest of us want to be.
Destruction.
I will be a president who unites us,
Crazy Nancy Pelosi.
who is realistic,
The biggest rallies you've ever seen.
practical,
Build an Iron Dome over our country.
and has common sense.
The late,
Iron
great
Dome.
Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He'd love to have you for dinner.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families.
The head of the Taliban. You call me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls the other guy Your Excellency. I doubt it.
Oh, my God.
I will always honor and never disparage their service.
Our military is not woke. It's just some of the fools on top that are woke.
I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un.
North Korea, Kim Jong-un, I got along very well with him.
Donald Trump, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans,
We will return law and order to our streets.
separately found liable for committing sexual abuse.
We will launch a new era of safety.
You can always trust me to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power.
We had that horrible, horrible result that we'll never let happen
Oh,
again.
God.
The election result, we're never going to let that happen again. They used COVID to cheat. We're never going to let it happen again.
They use COVID to cheat. We'll never let it happen again. Fuck you. No one cheated you, con man. Please. I can understand how he's confused, given that he received fewer votes. He's never received the most votes. And he was allowed to squat in the Oval Office the first time, despite receiving fewer votes. So I can understand he's a bit more confused than usual. Oh my God. Do we have a troll in the chat? We have a zero tolerance for trolls, remember. We don't have to suffer them. There's plenty of places for them to go. Really. Randy 1, Jim 0. Yeah. I don't count on it, Randy. He popped in talking about what? Obama phones? Another bullshit. You know, Republicans are really focused on the bullshit problems that America supposedly faces. As for the real issues that will make America great, not so much. They pop from bullshit issue to bullshit issue that they foment themselves. You know, they just pull it out of their asses and they run with it. It's some kind of mental illness. Yeah, it's weird. They're weird. You know, they should really just stay in their hovels or their meth labs, I don't know, shacks, you know, in some poorly run Republican district, and leave the governing to the adults. That's it. You know, because it's really above them. This whole America thingy, this democracy thingy, this e pluribus unum, the nation of laws, nation of immigrants, it's beyond them. It's very confusing to them. That's why they make up bullshit. Everything it's just they're just so full of shit. And I'm tired of having to deal with them. So, you know, we don't deal with them in the chat. That's for sure. That's where we get to, you know, say who stays and who goes. You don't have to agree with everything that I'm saying or that we're saying in the chat, but you have to behave like a normal person, can you, for a minute? But they never do. They come in, some of them come in, Trump 2024, or have nothing to say. Nothing to say. They never bring anything to the table. Am I wrong here? Anybody on the chat, has there ever been a Trump NZ in our chat who's had anything interesting to say? Of course not. Or in reality, you know, we were talking about this in another show not too long ago. The guy that, he was a right winger and he used to come to the show. I can't remember his name, but he was the rare exception. That's right. We used to have a conservative, Jim, and he was not, horrible. He was able to hang, and he had a different point of view, but he wasn't like a child, like a tedious, a tedious nothing, like a troll. Just a troll who brings nothing to the table. Obama phones, yes. I mean, the whole thing is, of course, is another racist trope that they, I mean, how many times, I don't know, I shouldn't say times, but it's sort of like the time that we waste in life in general, having to address the fake issues that Republicans stoke. You know, and they turn it into something that then we all have to waste our time when there are so many other important things to do. You know, all throughout my life, I'm just sick of them. For example, the fear that they stoke. If this happens, then that's going to happen. You'll see. You know, if the let's play Traitor Trump. I'm very sorry to do this to you, but when Harris was, I'm sure you saw her amazing speech that is going to go down in history, not just because she will be the first female president, which I found interesting that she never even mentioned that her historic candidacy, really, at all. She never mentioned it. Hold on a second. I hear the music. We'll be right back. Tarabuster, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. So Trump calls up Newsmax. Well, first he called up Fox. We'll play this for as much as we can stomach it. I don't know how long that's going to be. But
us now by phone, the 45th President of the United States, former President Donald Trump.
Mr.
President, thank you for joining us.
Cheat, a draft dodger,
socialing along
rapist.
This speech. What is your first reaction to it?
Convicted felon, con man.
Well, the biggest reaction is, why didn't she do the things that she's complaining about?
No one complains more than you, Traitor Trump. Why didn't she do it? Well, you know, Traitor Trump has an odd view. He's serving so-called, he never served government. Government served him. He serves himself. But saying, why didn't she do it? Well, because she's not a king or a queen. You know, you can't, that's how it works in a nation of laws. Everything he talks about, this traitor, he's a liar. He's like, oh, I could just do it and, you could just, maybe if you get your Project 2025 through and you could be the dictator that Republicans want you to be, then you can call them up and they can, just like Kim Jong-un, your hero. You want your people to stand at attention like Kim Jong-un's people, right? But there's laws that have to be passed. We have policy. This is how it works. The president is not a king. He's the executive branch of government. There are two other branches.
All of these things that she talked about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do everything. but she didn't do any of it. She could have done it 3.5 years
Well,
ago.
I
She could
talk
do
about
it
a lot of
tonight.
things too, but I can't do it because I'm not in government. You know, you have to have the majority. If the con man and his enablers are standing in the way of the border bill, for example, it's not going to happen. That's why Traitor Trump, you know, he should know that because he called up his minions, his enablers, and said, don't pass this bill because I want to be able to fearmonger on it. Because we as Republicans have nothing else. What are we going to run on? 1 million dead? Are we going to run on the mass graves we left behind? What are we going to run on? The worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover? Even before the pandemic? With not even factoring in the pandemic. Traitor Trump and the Republicans have the worst jobs records since Herbert Hoover. The bloated deficits, the trillions we added to the so-called debt and deficit we pretend to care so much about. He's the worst. The ballooning income disparity that we helped, that we added to, thanks to our tax scam. Tell me where I'm wrong. If the conservatives, or whatever they call themselves now, are hanging around, Randy's still, you know, flittering around like a gnat. Tell me where I'm wrong. You know, facts are pesky things, as Ronald Reagan once said.
Leaving the auditorium and going to Washington, D.C. and closing the border. She doesn't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I closed the border.
Of course, he's a liar. He never closed the border. But, you know, don't let facts interfere, Traitor Trump. She doesn't need a bill. She's not the queen. Trump did not, everything he's saying, let me just tell you. Here's the facts. He did not close the border. Trump did not, he implemented border restrictions, but that was based on the COVID-19 pandemic. He never closed the border. All countries close their borders based on COVID-19 restrictions. So, that's it. He's just full of shit. Well, you know, I don't have to go through this. We know he's a liar. That he, which is so irritating how we've talked about it before with the debate. You know, the mainstream media focused on Biden being old, but not that Traitor Trump was a fire hose of lies. You know, I'd rather have somebody old than a sociopath, but okay. That point is moot at the moment, thank God. But, yeah, he's full of shit. He didn't do anything. According to government data, Trump did nothing. There were no, not just nothing, I should say. He did less than nothing. His government data does not show major improvements in border security metrics under Trump. In fact, the percentage of migrants who successfully entered the United States illegally increased under Traitor Trump from 35% to 38%. These are facts. So he's full of shit. And of course, what he goes on about how it's all the, you know, this is why I hate him and everyone who votes for him, because he's going to go on about how other countries are emptying their jails, that crime is down everywhere else, and it's up here, and the other countries they have no, their prisons are empty because they're all coming in. That is just nothing but bullshit. It's shit on a shingle. He is a liar. He's a racist piece of shit, and he's a liar. And he's trying to make the American people afraid. And how dare he, you know? He's trying to make America as small as he is. As small as his Trumpanzees. You know, these cowardly, tedious, tiny, fragile little Trumpanzees who will kick down every time. Who'll get the mob out to harass migrant families in a detention center, or a migrant shelter, not a detention center. Scream at them. But they only scream in mobs, though. You understand? They wouldn't go there and scream alone. They need the mob to scream. Because they're cowards. They're the worst of us, you know? They really are. They should be ashamed. You know, could you imagine getting your shoes on, putting on your jacket, whatever, you know, getting dressed to go down to the migrant shelter and harass people, just scream through the windows in a mob? Like, that's how you spend your evening. And I'm sure these people, they're all big holy rollers too. They'll go to church on Sunday, pray to the Jesus they pretend to worship. You know, what a different world, or, you know, what a different everything it would be if they just leave these fucking people alone. You know, you don't like what happened. You don't like the fact that we wrote laws that after World War II, so another Holocaust wouldn't happen. We wrote asylum laws that people could present themselves at the border, not just our border, everywhere. That, you know, the NATO countries, you can present yourself and say, I'm seeking asylum. If you don't like that law, rewrite the law. Don't harass the migrant, the powerless. But that's all they got, you know? And this traitorous scumbag who steals valor every time he fucking salutes. He has no business saluting. We talked about it on the show. You know, they were all talking about stolen valor. About Walz stole valor. My ass. Bullshit. He did nothing except serve his country. I know how that's anathema to the traitor Trumpanzee crowd, but they say nothing about the civilian scumbag draft dodger standing there saluting North Korean generals and January 6th traitors. Scum.
And created the safest border we've ever had in the history of our country.
No.
She could have done all of these things, and she could still do them. She's got 4.5, 5 months left. She can go there.
You know, we can't play this whole thing. I know. It's the same shit. Different day. It's just nothing but a rambling of lies. But, you know, the fact that these assholes are sitting there and allowing it to go on, just allowing this con man to co-opt their air and spread these filthy racist lies into the empty heads of the Trumpanzee cult is so sickening. You know, because you can't fault a bird for flying or a fish for swimming or Traitor Trump for being a filthy draft-dodging wannabe dictator con man. That's just his nature. But you can fault those who know better. You know? Like those two. Maybe they don't, though. You would think they would. I'm sure they're educated. But they sit there and allow this disgusting waste of human DNA to use their airwaves to poison the empty heads of their victims/viewers. And they know what they're enabling. They know what they're helping foment. They're not helping this country in any way move forward or together or become unified. They're just helping the next terrorist. They're giving him an excuse. They're fomenting hate. How much longer, how much longer are we going to take it? I got to wonder, how much longer is this shtick going to work? Oh, she could have done it. She should have done it. The border. That's all they got is the border. The border. She's the border czar, even though she's not. There is no such thing as a border czar. It's so tedious. But, it's like we went through it on the show before. Kamala, excuse me. I took the lesson at the DNC from the little girls who told you how to say it properly. That's why I say VP Harris, because this is how it affects us. These filthy fascists, they mispronounce people's names on purpose. It gets very confusing, but that's what they do because that's all they have. These little tedious little Kamala, or they try to make people sound foreign. They're questioning her birth. I actually saw a tweet of. From these traitors that it was Harris saying this is Harris and her parents, right? And I'm trying to find it. And it was not her parents. It was just happened to be a picture of her and an Indian woman and a dude, a white dude. Just throughout her life, I'm sure she's taken many pictures with many people, and the maggots found a picture, some random photo saying, oh, here's Harris and her family and her mother and father, and the guy is white, of course. So they're saying, this is when did VP Harris turn black? You see? She's not black. But it wasn't her parents. You understand? They're just tweeting out a photo of some random couple. Everything if they put the same amount of energy into not being horrible as they do lying and twisting things and fomenting fear and hate and division, there might be a hope for them, because we're leaving them behind, frankly. In fact, and I'm not talking about literally. You have to leave them in the dust. We're never going to convert them, but and I'm not talking about leaving them behind without health care or living wages and retirement security and family leave and all the things that Democrats made possible and will make possible when we get the majority. We won't leave them behind there, but I'm talking about we will have to keep evolving without them, as usual. And trust me, they'll be the ones that'll eventually say, oh, well, as far as family leave, we're the champions of family leave. We were always for it. We're going to protect it. Trust me, that's how they roll. They stand athwart history, yelling stop. We evolve anyway. And then they pretend that they were the champions of it all along. And it just never stops. All they have is racism. Oh my God. So, so RFK Jr. is endorsing Traitor Trump, apparently. Let me see if I can play it. As we speak.
F. Kennedy Jr.
F him. Yep, I agree. F him. Wee! Oh my God. Are they allowed to play that song? I doubt it. He's a hero. Really? Ew. What a traitor. Speaking of traitors, oh my God. Well, yeah, oh, hey, I'm not surprised the guy with the brain worm who wants to eat a goddamn road-killed bear cub who ate a dog and then posted about it with his friends. He thought it was a big yuck, funny laugh riot to pose with the skeleton of the dog. Isn't that disgusting? So, yeah, of course a man with a brain worm is going to be a Trumpanzee. Good for him. He wants to be in the cabinet. God help us. God help us. Oh, yeah, and speaking of, worms in the brain. Well, let me see the time. Because there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Of course, we always run out of time. But let's go to how the Pee-pee patrol at the DNC. See, while VP Harris is talking about making a more perfect union, how we're going to move this country forward together, how we don't leave people behind. The maggots got into the DNC, whatever. And this is what they do. Mike Lindell was roaming around the DNC arguing with Democrats. Of course, he had an argument with a child, and the child wiped the floor with him, of course, because he was arguing, saying how the election was stolen. I mean, these people are mentally ill, okay? As we know. But he was also fascinated. He went undercover into a gender-neutral bathroom. See, this is the Pee-pee patrol. The Republicans they're focused on the things that make this country great, right? Checking your pee-pee in a bathroom. They were fascinated and freaked out. They were highly disturbed, really, about the gender-neutral bathrooms. That they've never seen anything like it. It's pathetic.
Which one are you going to choose?
Is this for real?
Is this for real? Gender-neutral bathroom. They never seen that before. A gender-neutral bathroom. They're so tickled, but not they're titillated. They probably hope that they could see somebody's pee-pee. They don't know what goes on in a gender-neutral bathroom. They're so focused on everyone's pee-pee. You see, they're not normal, and they're not mature enough to function in a free democratic society. That's what it's about. Exactly. Terry Taylor on the chat says, does he have gender-specific bathrooms at home? Look at his face.
Enjoy that gender-neutral bathroom, Mike.
I don't know.
I won't tell anybody.
I mean, who gives it a second thought? Who cares? You know what's in a gender-neutral bathroom? Stalls that go from the ceiling to the floor. I mean, that's what's in a gender-neutral bathroom. Your own little toilet. All for your own.
Aren't they all this way?
I don't know. I've
Look
never
at
seen
them.
that.
Look at this incel here. Are they all this way? This is exciting. This is the closest I've gotten to pussy in 20 years.
Is it the same? Like,
I think, yeah, there's men and women in there right now.
Oh my God.
well, I can't.
You mean men and women urinate? What? This is right out of a child's, when I just feel like it's bringing me back to elementary school. This is something that would get us all riled. We'd be all like this. What's going on in there? Boys and girls together? In the they're peeing? Ha ha ha. I thought that was very funny when I was a child. That pee-pee and poo-poo.
obviously I can't film in there. Have fun. Let me know how it goes. I'll talk to you when you come out.
But these people never grow up, you see? That's why they want to overthrow America, because it's too triggering to them. It's too woke. You know, e pluribus unum. That's very woke. Out of many, one? That's patently commie. Jeez. Pledging your life, your fortune, your sacred honor to each other? That's almost socialist.
Went into the gender-neutral bathroom where.
Now, this guy, if he doesn't have issues, put it like, you know, to put it mildly. I was just in the gender-neutral bathroom. Can you believe how titillated, how excited they are about it? These are grown-ass men, by the way. They're not elementary school boys. These are actual adults who are hanging outside the bath. It's so emblematic of the Republican Party. So the Democrats are going about their business, being adults, talking about issues, talking about policies and how to address the problems we face, or just some of them right now in the behind them, they're just going about their business, doing things, you know, normal things, getting food, going buying some souvenirs, and they're outside like, are you gonna go in? I'm gonna go, like spending entirely too much time overthinking this gender neutral bathroom. Because this is how much time they spend thinking about other people's pee-pees. What are you doing with, what are other people's pee-pees doing? Are they dressed properly according to their pee-pee? Are they in the appropriate bathroom? Are they acting appropriately? Are they in the right attire for the pee-pee?
Obviously, you can't take the camera in there. That would be creepy.
I can't take the camera. That would be creepy. But hanging out outside and making an entire video about the gender neutral bathroom is not creepy at all. Not creepy, not weird. Totally not weird. You know, this is another example. Leave the governing to the adults.
You have to be a pedo Democrat to do that.
Oh yes,
But,
it's the Democrats who are pedos, right? Except we could set our clock to, you know, another Republican caught in the act of being himself.
And see how it goes when he comes out. The loss of a moral foundation.
Oh, is that
so
it?
It makes me wonder if it's
The loss of a moral foundation is gender-neutral bathrooms, not, you know, sending women to die in back alleys, not cutting health care, attacking, you know, the politically unconnected and vulnerable. No, not that. Not trying. Not lying, saying the election was stolen when you lose. Yeah, that's not the moral foundation there. Not attacking families with trans children who are just trying to help their kids, not kill themselves. No, that's not the decline of a moral foundation. It's the gender neutral bathroom. Guys, don't you know? Because everyone in their place. That's conservatism. It is the ideology of hierarchy and division. And everyone should get in their place until, you know, that's when we'll have utopia. When women know their place, gays are in the closet, straight white men at the top. Everything else, you know, is a moral panic. How many moral panics have we been through with these right-wingers? LGBTQ plus rights, the moral panic about visibility, and trans people. Critical race theory, we've been through. The moral panic. Gender ideology. Right? Oh, everybody's changing their gender. This is what they say. That you go to school and you come out saying that you could change your gender. That's just not how it works. Immigration, refugees, the moral panic there. That Traitor Trump was going on about until the Fox News assholes actually cut him off because he's rambling like a goddamn drunk at the end of the bar for another day, right? Every day. He's like this drunken old coot at the end of the bar who's just shut up. Or drag queen story hour. All these moral panics. We've been dealing with them forever. And nothing ever really comes to fruition. There's nothing there. There's no there. Remember the moral panic about video games and violence? How if you play video games, you're gonna kill people. That was when I was growing up. And of course then of social media, rock music, heavy metal music, and that's another moral panic. And in the 50s, right, it was comic books. The conservatives it's always about conservatives telling us how we're going off the wrong track. The moral panic, society's in decline.
Out all the urinals, or if women that haven't seen a urinal are sitting in them.
Yeah, that's it, right? Did they switch out all the urinals, or if women who've never seen a urinal are sitting in them? No, we're not stupid. People are not stupid like you, Republicans. We work on things that matter. Nobody cares. No one cares about this stupid thing that you're obsessed with. See, there's other things to do. There's other things to talk about. But they're outside the bathroom. And they're all going in one by one.
Find out.
We're going to find out.
How was that experience?
I'll tell you what. Never in my life did I think a day would come like this where you had eczema.
See, he came out. That's Mike Lindell. He came out of the gender-neutral bathroom. How was it? How's the experience? It's a magical mystery tour, and there's nothing to it. You see, all it is a room with doors, and you open the doors, and there's a bathroom inside. You know, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. Might as well be in the hall with a bunch of doors that have bathrooms inside. You're in your own private stall. But he can't say that, so he has to foment the panic, the moral panic. He can't say, no, it's no big fucking deal, so... Jesus Christ, help us. This is Tara Devlin. Thank you guys on Progressive Voices for being you. Thank you for being you, because we're on the right side of history. Liberals created America while the conservatives were pining to be trickled upon by the king. Always remember that. And we will win. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Check out APS Radio News. And thank Charlie for his support. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Haku, for being a moderator. We're not done yet. All right. Yes, he shaved his porno stash, Ed, on the chat, because he was going undercover.
That's bizarre. That's all I can say.
It's bizarre. You see, this is how disingenuous they are. Or maybe not. Maybe he thinks it's bizarre that there's a bunch of doors and then you open a door and there's a toilet inside. He'd rather pee in the hall, I guess, like in the halls of the Capitol, like when the traitors urinated and defecated in the halls of the Capitol. But he can't say that it's not a big deal. Because he walked in there and he saw, whoopee fucking doopy, there's a bunch of doors here. But they can't. They can't go, stop this stupid gag. And they cannot go against the grain of their cult by saying, yeah, no big deal. Gender-neutral bathrooms, it's just a bunch of doors. Whatever. It's just like in your own home, there's a bathroom and it's gender neutral, except there's about 6 to 10 of them in a row and you open the door and you use it. It's not a big deal. But he can't say that. So he has to go, wow, never in my life did I ever think I'd see this destruction of Western civilization like this. Yeah, they're not destroying Western civilization by lying about a stolen election. That's not destroying this, the moral foundation of America, turning a lot of easily led dupes into suckers and traitors. A lot of these traitors are in jail right now, in prison. Oh, they'll be out if Traitor Trump has something to do with it, but he can't say that. He has to keep the stupidity going outside the bathroom.
Wrong with that picture.
Well, there's something wrong with that picture. What? A bunch of doors in a row, a bunch of bathrooms all in a row. Something wrong with that. It's crazy. Yeah, just nuts. Something so fundamentally wrong with having a bunch of bathrooms in a row.
Now, were there urinals? Any women sitting in urinals?
I didn't look.
You didn't look.
Kind of had a little tunnel vision in there.
You had tunnel vision because there's nothing to see, you fucking lying pig. No offense to pigs. There's nothing there. There's no there. Move on. But they got nothing. So, okay. It's like, it's so cringe.
What happened to our world?
It's upside down. It's right now. This is the
what's happened to our world, everyone.
Evil and good and nonsensical and
evil. It's evil.
We have it's like a teeter totter, but we're winning. I really believe
we're winning. You sound like Traitor Trump now.
I might not look common sense today, not everyone.
Common sense.
Sneaking inside. We're inside the building now, everybody.
Okay, well, I did it.
You did it? You survived? You survived the doors that have bathrooms behind them?
And I don't care who you are, there is something wrong with that. That is designed awkwardness. No
That's
urinals.
because why are you so focused on other people's bodily functions? Mind your own damn business, weirdo.
Thankfully, all stalls, and you hear people taking fat dumps, and you don't know if it's a...
Oh, yes, I'm sure everybody's taking fat dumps. He says, well, listen, let him talk. Yeah.
All stalls, and you hear people taking fat dumps, and you don't know if it's a girl or a guy.
Isn't that's the end of Western civilization. People are taking fat dumps. I highly doubt it. Most people don't like to poop in public bathrooms. I don't want to get disgusting here, as you know, but they don't do it. They prefer their own privacy, unless they're sick. So, he wants people to take fat dumps because he's sick. And he wants to hear it, and he wants to fantasize about what other people are doing behind closed doors. We know that this is why they're not well. They're not fit. They need help. They shouldn't be anywhere near the halls of power. I mean, because these are the people that defecate and urinate in the halls of power. And they're worried about gender-neutral bathrooms.
It's gross. It's really gross. All to appease a percentage of the population that has mental illness.
That has mental illness. No, so you don't have mental illness, right?
People, transgender people that want to feel more comfortable. So in order to make them feel more comfortable, we do that.
We do that. We do that. We put a bunch of bathrooms together. We do that. All to appease a percentage of a percentage, he says. Not understanding or knowing the irony of that statement. As we know, the Republicans, the laws that they have passed and are trying to pass all over the country, enacting these laws banning gender-affirming care, banning bathrooms or puberty blockers, hormone therapy, anything that they don't understand. They have no business telling anybody else what they should do, especially a family trying to help their trans child. Restrictions. They even have laws that extend restrictions to adults and limit insurance coverage for gender-affirming care in certain states, in these filthy red states. And poorly run, by the way, as we know, because over 80% of the infrastructure bill is going to red states because they have let their infrastructure crumble because they're too busy stalking people outside the bathroom. Sick. But, yeah, so he's saying that how sick it is that they make gender neutral bathrooms to appease a percentage of the population, but they don't think it's doubly sick to focus, to write laws all over the country. The percentage, 33% of anti-LGBTQ bills in the United States are focused on bathroom restrictions. And the laws, over 520 anti-LGBTQ bills were introduced in 2023. 520. More than 220 bills targeting transgender, specifically targeting transgender and non-binary people. So all to target a percentage of a percentage. He thinks it's weird that people would have just whatever. He thinks gender-neutral bathrooms are weird to make a percentage of a population feel seen, feel comfortable. But he doesn't think it's weird to negatively target and attack and harass through the power of government a percentage of the population. I think it's the mark of a civilized society that we do what we can to make a percentage of the population feel seen and welcome and comfortable. That's actually a good thing. We should be more like that. Caring about all of us, recognizing even the percentage of our human brothers and sisters. Letting them know that we got you, We're in this together. We got you. Don't worry. You're safe. You're seen. You're one of us. But they would much rather target that percentage of a percentage, because these are the kicks up, kick down kings and queens of the world. They don't ever target the powerful and the politically connected. They only go after the politically unconnected and the powerless. They are the personification. They are the consummate bullies. Conservatives. Anti-trans bills, in fact, have increased 11-fold, okay? That's the numbers. I'm reading these statistics. 11-fold in the past 5 years because of Republicans, because of people like him It's very sick. These people are sick. Anti-trans bills in state legislatures have increased, like I said, 11-fold, from 38 bills in 2018 to, guess what? 411 bills in 2023. In 2018, only 2 anti-LGBTQ plus bills were signed into law. In 2023, 51 have become law. That is a 2,450% increase, thanks to people like him. More than 220 bills specifically targeting transgender and non-binary people were introduced in 2023. That's also a record. 70 anti-LGBTQ laws have been enacted in 2023 so far. A 32.9% jump in reported hate crimes. That's the result, you know, of what Republicans do. It's just what they do. They increase hate. They turn hate into action. You know, I think I would faint if these people would stop fomenting hate for a minute and did their jobs. You know, did the job of being human, I would imagine. It's hard for them. Look at their standard bearer. But they're not interested in helping. They're not interested in making a more perfect union. They leave you behind all the time. Especially if you're a percentage of the population. You're a prime target for them. But it's, you know, I find it funny how he doesn't see the irony in his statement. You know, if only we're motivated by, you know, the least among us. Oh, and I'm not talking about, I mean as a percentage of a percentage. You know, because in order to be a trans person in this country, yeah, there's nothing more courageous than that. These cowards have no idea what courage is. Because I bet you, him or one of the other ones, or they have some kind of, they're in the closet somehow. You know, my gaydar is going off over here. So, you know, it takes courage to live an authentic life. These Republicans, they don't have that kind of courage. They don't have courage at all. The only courage, they have the courage of a mob to get together and harass terrified human beings. Trying to have a little piece of the freedom that Republicans just fell ass backwards into and think that some kind of, it's just a finite resource that runs out. Well, if Traitor Trump gets into power, despite receiving fewer votes, yeah, I guess they could be right. Because Republicans hate freedom. It's another reason why I thought, well, the DNC was fabulous. How they're taking back patriotism, taking back freedom. We've been talking about this on this show for years. It's one of the things I wish they had given me credit for at the DNC. Am I wrong? I'm not kidding. I think this show and us on the chat, we're the only ones that, for years, talking about liberals are the patriots. Liberals are the ones carrying the mantle of, you know, the Enlightenment, of the founders, bringing the founding documents to fruition. We're the patriots. They're, they waving a flag with stars. Doesn't make you a patriot. Makes you a child. You know, a child waves a flag with stars and they have no idea what it means, you know? But I'm not sure if you saw. There's a couple of things. Trump will host a January 6th awards gala for the traitors who stormed the Capitol. And I guess they couldn't find a gender neutral or any bathroom because they urinated and defecated in the halls. That's why Mike Lindell is so upset about a gender neutral bathroom. He much prefers people to defecate and urinate in the halls of the citadel of democracy, I suppose. Traitor Trump says he will gather to pay tribute to all the January 6th defendants who've shown incredible courage and sacrifice. The courage of a mob that stormed the Capitol, attempting to hang the vice president, to stop the peaceful transfer of power, because a con man has his fifis were hurt because he lost. He lost the election, and he was not man enough to respect the peaceful transfer of power. That was good enough for George Washington, but not good enough for the draft-dodging, tax-cheating, wannabe dictator con man with the fake university. It was good enough for, the founder, the father of our nation. Could you imagine what George Washington, what Thomas Jefferson, what any of the founders would say about this con man, traitor Trump? What a disgrace, they would say, right? And the fact that he's still walking around is unfathomable. I'm talking about, he needs to be in prison. So let's watch here, just to remind everybody. Trump will host a January 6th gala. Attendees will have a chance to win a plaque commemorating the MAGA community's purchase of numerous copies of Trump's Justice for All song. Because there's always a grift involved. Of course, that song features Trump and the traitors reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, that, they pledge allegiance to the traitor. And the January 6th traitors singing the national anthem. Interestingly, attendees at Trump's events often struggle to recite the pledge. And, because they don't know it. Trump, we've had clips of Trump. He doesn't know the Pledge of Allegiance. A flyer for the January 6th Awards Gala reveals that Traitor Trump has invited to speak, has indicated that a co-defendant, Rudy Giuliani, will be present at the event, being hosted at Traitor Trump's tacky property. Oh, it says a promotional video for the event shows Traitor Trump referring to January 6 rioters as peaceful and hostages. Just playing this to remind everybody. Trump says there has never been a group of people treated so harshly and unfairly. Isn't he a piece of shit? The event has been postponed once and is now back on. Ticket packages range from $2,500 to $50,000. Let's see how well attended it is. Shame on these right-wingers, right? Shame on the Republicans. Any Republican who is not a traitor is already out of this scum cult. Right? They're already gone. You know, the Adam Kinzingers, the Liz Cheneys, they already left. Any Republican who is not a traitor is gone from this maggot cult. January 6th awards gala. I'm trying to find the video. No, let me see. I wonder if it's... there's no link to the video. Of this. A promotional video. How come I can't find it? Oh, wait. Here it is. Look at this shit. Hosted by a first-class label group and Vote Your Vision. Who's this? Anthony Raimondi. Who's that? What traitor is that? Oh my God. Own a piece of history. A unique and exclusive item signed the custom platinum plaque. Oh my God. Vote Your Vision. Oh, what a horror show. What is happening to this world? Sponsor. Let's see. Come on. See what I'm talking about? What's going on? Why isn't it opening? The J6 Awards Gala. I love that photo that Traitor Trump uses for himself. We know what it looks like. That's not it. That's not the photo you need to use, Traitor. You know? That's not an accurate image. This is more accurate, really. Right? The #1 music chart plaque. Please. It's #1 platinum music. Like, these effing assholes have New York Times bestsellers. How come there's no video? Where's the video? January 6th. Alright, whatever. So, let me see. What's the other thing I had here? Here's Tara Jr. Everyone, look at the camera. Say hello. Yeah. He doesn't like that. Let me see. So, alright. I don't know. Should I do the J.D. Vance at the donut shop? You know? Or Tim Walz. Well, here. Let's do Tim Walz's son. We can do J.D. Vance at the donut shop. There'll be another awkward moment with J.D. Vance, no doubt, because that's who they are. He's a very awkward person. I don't know if you saw, just for those who may have missed it, J.D. Vance went to buy a donut, and it was really awkward. He was like, "Hi, I'm J.D. Vance. I'm running for vice president." And the woman's like, "Okay." He can't make anything more awkward, I suppose, if he tried. But speaking of awkward and horrible, this is, you know, I don't know if you saw. So Tim Walz's son, let's play this, was very proud of his father, and it was beautiful.
Experienced the hell that is infertility. I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone had rang, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
It's beautiful.
I'm letting you in on how we started a family, because this is a big part about what this election is about. Freedom.
So, of course, when I saw that, I thought it was touching and beautiful, and I don't know if anyone couldn't cry seeing that. His heartfelt and sincere emotion and pride. You know, that's my dad. But, of course, any heartfelt and sincere emotion is fodder for the maggots because they love Jesus, I guess. You know, just like the Savior they pretend to worship told them. There's something really fundamentally wrong with the Republicans. And they came out of the woodwork attacking Gus Walz, and Coulter tweeted saying, "Talk about weird." They're very triggered by the word weird, that they've been, called out for being weird. Stop being weird. Stop stalking people out of, outside of bathrooms. People who don't like being called weird shouldn't hang out outside of gender-neutral bathrooms, going in one by one and giggling and laughing like 2-year-olds about people's pee-pees, Dinesh D'Souza tweeted, "The kid might have mental problems, but he's acting like Tim Walz, so what's the excuse?" Jesus Christ. They don't know what to do about Tim Walz, do they? Just like they don't know they don't know what to do about anyone, or anything who's decent. Decency is very confusing to them. It's very triggering to them. Terry Schilling of the American Principles Project mocked Gus Walz, apparently, he said, for wearing eyeliner. Have they seen J.D. Vance? He wears eyeliner, J.D. Vance. Alex Lace, a right-wing podcaster, said, "Get the kid a tampon already." Get the kid a tampon? Because, leave it to a Republican to be not only horrible, but also misogynist. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Because they got to cover all the bases of being horrible. Ugly, inhumane, misogynist. It's all rolled up together, but they can't help it. It's like, I find it funny because we've, on the show, as I'm doing the show, we've had it before. Trolls come in here, they'll insult me or whatever, or try to, because I don't get insulted by them. When a Republican tries to insult me, it's really it's a mark that I'm doing it correctly, So, somebody came on here once and they were like, "You're really," something, they called me basically a trans woman, saying, You're pretty for a trans woman, something like that, which is so disgusting. And but they think it's disgusting because they're horrible, as if trans women aren't pretty and I should be insulted and we should, trans people are to be mocked, that kind of thing, and it's goes to show you who they are. That they are filled with hate. Just simply filled with hate for other people. And what a fucking waste of life that is. They don't have to be like that. You understand? They don't. Get a life, you know? Leave other people alone. Mind your own business. Stop, hating. What is wrong with you? There's so many other ways to spend the day. There's so many things that you could spend your time doing that are life affirming, helping people. Right? Go do something. Go feed the homeless or hungry, whatever. Help people. You'll see how much better you feel. But they go on the internet and they take this window onto the whole world, and that's the best they have to offer. Hate, division, attacking people, attacking people's looks, with attacking their identity. They're making sure we all know who's on the inside, who's on the outside, what's to be mocked. What's weak. There's nothing more weak than them, than Traitor Trump. He is the weakest, little, fragile, littlest of all bitches going. He is the weakest, little, fragile, disgusting parasite. He really is. He's not strong. He's not tough. He's not anything to be admired. That's for sure. He's small. He's fragile. It's not courageous. And then they attack Gus Walz for having pride and loving his father and having the courage to show it. And what's their excuse? I was trying to find this image. I know it's somewhere, but I couldn't find it. It was Donald Trump Jr. and his whatever, the sperm donor, Traitor Trump, standing there a foot apart with their fucking thumbs up in the air. Not even, there's no warmth between them at all. There's no camaraderie. There's no love there. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. And I think we talked about it on the show before, that photo, because it's just so awkward. And yes, it's weird. It's effing weird. What's not weird is Gus Walz. That's beautiful. His relationship, his pride in his father, and his feeling safe enough to show that emotion. And that's courage. You show it anyway, in spite of the fact that Ann Coulter and Dinesh D'Souza and Terry Schilling, these horrible, horrible people, are going to have some negative thing to say about it. Alex Lace, get that kid a tampon because she's supposed to be a girl and girls supposed to be weak? And weak people cry? Is that it? Alex Lace, the weakest little tiniest bitch on the planet, these people are always crying about how everything's unfair, right? It's all unfair. Everyone's picking on them. Huh? These are the weakest little bitches. They can't go into a gender-neutral bathroom without being weak and small. Right, Haiku on the chat. A tampon for his ear? Right. Well, that's a Kotex for his fake injury. Oh, God. But, you know what? We will win. Because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Look how beautiful they are. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And support the liberal media. This is it. You're looking at it. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you soon. Just to finish up some of these tweets or whatever, some of the Republicans' disgusting response. Mike Crispy, a Trump ally, called Gus Walz a beta bitch. Oh no. There's nothing more beta bitchy than a Trumpanzee. Really. Right? I mean, these are grifters. I mean, these are dupes that worship a grifter. That buy NFTs from a con man. Who hates their fucking guts, by the way. He hates them. As we know. We know this. Those who worked in Traitor Trump's administration, the one who've seen the light, the Republicans who are Republicans. You know, they're not completely immoral and disgusting and treasonous. They've told us. Just like when, I think, who was it? It was during the DNC. Stephanie Grisham, right? She had the texts from trophy wife number 3 saying, should we release a statement saying that all Americans have the right to peaceful protest, but violence is never acceptable? No. She didn't say no to the nude photo shoot, but okay. She said no to violence. She said no to saying no to violence, but not to the nude lesbian photo shoot. Okay. Hey, I got nothing wrong with that, but that's their great first lady. Imagine, if you will. Take a trip into the Imagine land if Michelle Obama did a nude lesbian photo shoot. What do you think Republicans would say? Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about that. So, yeah, Stephanie Grisham also reported, and we know this, said that Trump hates his followers. He calls them basement dwellers. I think they're bottom crawlers. Yeah, worse than that. He hates them. We've talked about this on the show before. You know that. He hates them. He has no respect for them. How could you? How could you respect your marks? Con men don't respect their marks. You can't respect people who are such easy marks. You know, of course they don't. If he respected them, he would work for them. He would do what he says he's gonna do. He would help them instead of lie to them. He wouldn't turn them into his brown shirts who storm the Capitol and defecate and urinate in the halls. It's so true, you know, and that's why I always say that we don't hate these people. I don't hate them. I want them to have health care. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get them health care. That's why, for example, the infrastructure bill, over 80% of the benefits, the money from the infrastructure bill is going to these poorly run red states that go into disrepair while Republicans are busy passing anti-trans, anti-gay bathroom bills, trying to send women to back alleys and stuff like that. But while they're putting on the performance of governance, the actual tasks they're neglecting and letting things fall into disrepair because they can't. raise taxes or ask people to their rich benefactors to pay their fair share so they can keep the roads paved and the bridges up to date, and they can't do that. So they fall into shit. Some of these red states they have the infrastructure from the New Deal that have never been repaired. They can't keep up with the repairs because otherwise they'd have to raise taxes on their benefactors. And they can't do that because they're busy kissing their asses. And that's why when they get power, when they do their so-called jobs, their performance art is, attacking trans people. There's all this bullshit. So, what was I saying? That's why these Republicans hate the people they pretend to represent. They're not doing shit for them except triggering them and really robbing from their lives, robbing their serenity, their peace. And it affects everyone. I don't care if the maggot themselves isn't gay or trans or on the targeted minority group du jour list. It matters. It still affects them. They have friends that are in these targeted minority groups. Maybe they don't even know it. And these friends, hate themselves or whatever. And whatever it might be, they tear people apart. And that's what maggots do. That's what Republicans do. They're not helping people. They're not making them, have a decent life. They're not giving them a day off. They're not giving them living wages. That's what they're not. They're not fighting for these things that are they're not laying the foundation of the infrastructure of freedom. They let the infrastructure crumble until Democrats come in with federal infrastructure bills, and we go in there and we repair their shitty run states. It's just sickening. Am I wrong? Stop me when I say something that's wrong. Yeah, I know. I noticed you haven't stopped me for years. Yeah. Trump privately mocks his supporters, Stephanie Grisham said. She described her past loyalty to Trump, saying she was a true believer who spent a significant amount of time with him and his family. However, she expressed disillusionment after witnessing his behavior away from the public eye. Grisham asserted that Trump refers to his supporters as basement dwellers and lacks empathy, morals, and a commitment to the truth. Of course. Hello. Thank you, Errol. Errol says, you're never wrong, Tarabuster. Yeah, I try not to be. And when I'm wrong, we address it. We correct it, I'm not trying to be right all the time. I'm just trying to be... It's not about being right, really. It's about telling the truth. And if we're wrong, we adjust, right? Junior. I'm losing my voice. Here comes Tara Junior. All right, it's the end of the show anyway. Come on. Get over here. Listen to his purring. Isn't he good for the blood pressure? Purr into the microphone, please. He purrs like that all the time. He's a good purrer. Some of them don't purr like that. Right, purr? He's good for the purr. He's very good at purring. Purring is his superpower. Right? He also... Listen to the way he talks to me. All right, we got more show, so we'll do it during the week. Let me see. Trump was frustrated that he wasn't the center of attention during a hospital visit amid the COVID-19 pandemic, highlighting his self-centeredness. Grisham also shared that Trump would often say, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Just say it enough and people will believe you." Yeah, right out of Goebbels. He's a piece of dirt. He's a dirtbag. No offense to dirtbags who, dirtbags, you need to put your dirt somewhere. Boudica. She woke up, yes. She was sleeping on her face again this morning. I tried to grab a picture, but when I moved, she woke up. She's funny. Sleeping flat on her face. All right, my friends. Thank you for hanging out tonight. You made me feel better. Thank you for letting me share. Making me feel better. She's having a toe snack. Haiku says. It's true. Do you want to see Spooky? Let me see if I can grab him. Let me play a video. Well, Spooky's over here, but he's not always easy to grab. You gotta do it gently. Let's play the DNC roll call. Well, first here's RNC roll call.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Oklahoma, 43 votes, President Trump. West Virginia, 32 delegates.
Whoa, it's a smattering of applause. Smattering.
Pursuant
to the announcement, President Trump. I love how they have to call him President.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules.
Your vote.
Get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Hey, everybody get your hands up. Now, say, we're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back, Spooky.
Come to the wall.
Pee-pee Harris.
Give me the wall.
And Spooky. All right, Spookarookie. We're not going back, Spooky. We're not going back. Beep, beep, boop. Look at his hands. I don't want to torture him. He's okay. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. That's okay, Spookarookie. He's not scared. Little Spookarook. You hear him when you pet him? He's a good boy. All right. All right, guys. Thank you, my friends, for hanging out. And let me put Spooky down. Hold on, little one. Thank you. Thank you, Spooky. He'll get some nice leaves. He's a good boy. He's good. He's getting better. Notice he didn't get all crazy. Because he knows. He's trusting. All right, my friends. I love you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for indulging me, listening, and sharing the show with your friends. That helps. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, and JD, and Haiku, Twisted Nerves Painting, and Jim, of course, and Pookie's mommy, and Errol, and Ed the Second, and Terry Taylor, and Sage, and Matt and Stephanie and Trucker John. Nice to see you there. Gotta come back on the show. And Stephanie. And Matt. And Turn Out the One. And what else? Paradoo. Yes. Who else? Did I miss anybody? And Haku. Sage, Ohio. Don't feel bad if I missed you. It's accidental. Errol Thomas. Yes, see you. I will see you. I have to do a show during the week. It's been too long. And I have more to talk about. We got more to go, more to do. And hours to go before we sleep. All right, my friends. I love you. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Share the show with your friends. If you call up any other liberal talk shows, drop the name of Tarabuster. I don't know. Politely. You have gigs and rehearsals coming up, Haiku. That's fun. All right, next few Fridays. Well, then I'll have to do some weekday shows because otherwise Haiku won't be able to join us on Fridays. But have fun. All right, my loves. I love you. We will win. And I will see you during the week.